Welcome to the bold analysis. When Maina and Jenga started showing visibility, Rigathi and the Mount Kenya team started to run a smear campaign on his name using the defunct Mungiki grouping, but all was in vain.
We have heard your fear and concern.
That was the Deputy President speaking somewhere in Meru. And I remember analyzing in this podcast that narrative was just brought forth here for, it was an imaginary story about that revival. And this lacked traction. And you'll realize that what then happened was Maina Njenga was dragged in court with some trumped up charges. But as we speak, Ndovuku, the lion, is roaring. And that is why this podcast, I want to explain what is behind Maina Njenga breakthrough. Make sure you watch this podcast to the end. But before we get into that, Chairman, as he's actually touted amongst the young people in the mountain, and it's called, I've realized, adopted something called a name known as Ndovuku, seems to be cutting a space for himself. And yesterday, I realized if you look at this photo, he led a delegation of some young people from Mount Kenya to meet with Raila at the Joff. And this is part of the preparation for a mega meeting that is supposed to happen in Mount Kenya later this month. But I understand that meeting might happen the first week of November for some reasons. And so, remember, his emergence is coming at a time, and there are many other factors that is coming. The emergence of Maina Njenga is happening at a time cracks are being witnessed in Mount Kenya UDA caucus. Number two, Ndindi Nyoro and Kimani Chungwa are trying to cut a niche for themselves away from Rigathi by working directly with William Ruto. And that is why the unity push by Rigathi and even trying to bring Uhuru Kenyatta in the picture is not bearing any fruit. On the other side, Maina Njenga is carrying the show and going with it. And so, what is behind Maina breakthrough? I want you to look at this video. My first point is the growing social media accountability.
Mbona mnakuanga hivyo? Hiyo ilikuwa kitu ya kunikalia kwa gari yangu. Tunaenda na we hadi mali naenda. Na kupeleka hadi kwangu saa hii, nikupeleka kwa nyumba na hii gari utoki ndani. Mbona unaingia kwa gari yangu? Wewe ni traffic police. Na kufanyia hivyo juu, mbona unaingia kwa gari yangu? Nataka kupaka hapo, uwezi turn hivyo, uwezi park venye nilikuwa nakuja hivyo. Ningekwambia hivyo, hiyo ni kitu ya mtu anafaa kukwambia. Tunaenda na we mali naenda. Umbwa hii. Mnasumbua Kenya, watu wako na stress. Mbona umeingia kwa gari yangu? Mbona umeingia kwa gari yangu? Nakwambia we ni umbwa na tunaenda na wewe hadi kwangu. Hata siendi kazi, tunaenda na wewe. Mbona umeingia kwa gari yangu? We ni traffic police. Mbona umeingia kwa gari yangu? Umbwa hii. Na kupeleka hadi Ngong town. Tunataka kufanya na wewe trip. Mko na tabia mbaya sana. Siwezi park gari. Unashaingia kwa ingia. Tubange nini? Si nilikwambia nataka kupark gari. Mbona ulikataa?
Mbona hujajiongelesha hivi?
Nilikwambia. Si nilikwambia hapo mkakuja wawili. Na kutusi umbwa. Mbona nilikataza uchalie siingia ndani ya gari yangu? Mimi upark gari hapo. Mbona hamkuwa mnasikia? Na nilikuwa nafanya the right thing. Mimi kila mtu anapark hivyo gari. Mnaingia kwa gari yangu mnataka kuniarasi. Tunaenda na yeye mali naenda fande Pumbafu kabisa afande. Afande nini? Mnaumiza hapa Wakenya kila siku mkituambia unaingia kwa gari yangu, wewe unajua bei ya gari. Sijafanya makosa yote alafu unaingia kwa gari yangu. Hakuna madam, tunaenda na wewe. Tunataka kuchukua road trip. Tunachukua road trip. Tulikuwa nataka kuingia kwa gari yangu. Nataka kukaa na wewe hadi kesho ndani ya hii gari. I have nothing to lose. I'm a boss. Nimekuja kuangalia kazi yangu town. Siwezi park gari. Ati juu nikipark gari mnaingia hapa makanjo maumbwa hii. Wakenya wako na shida, mnaongeza shida zingine. Nyinyi ni nini nyinyi? So ulikuwa unataka kufanya PE. Twende na wewe. We want to do this PE. Call whoever you are calling. You don't even have courtesy. Huh?
State House. State House Road.
Call hawa tunapigia. State House Road. Tuko State House Road. You don't even have courtesy. You don't ana courtesy ya kuingia ndani ya gari yangu. What was my mistake? I was trying to park. What was my mistake? And I had paid for that parking. Kumbafu kabisa. Mnasumbua wa Kenya. There are serious criminals in this country. Tungebonga, nilikukataza kuingia ndani ya gari yangu. Toka hapa. Nitakugonga saa hii. Wewe.
Please madam.
No.
Please. Just stop.
No.
Stop what you're doing.
Nilikukataza kuingia gari yangu.
Yes.
Nilikuwa nimefanya makosa.
Yes.
Makosa gani? Makosa gani? No. Tell me what was my mistake?
Just listen.
What was my mistake?
After systems, there is a very strong perception that system is failing Kenyans. Kenyans are feeling like the government is a bit insensitive. The system is insensitive to the plight of Kenyans. The good Kenyans have now resorted to social media. And the revolution is being televised in social media. If you realize that there are 3 songs that have been released. The other day I shared with you a video of some young people that were singing they will wake up to send William Ruto, to remove William Ruto. There have also been another one on Mavoko demolition. And even now as we speak, there are quite a number. But I wanted to look at, I've decided to use these 2 videos. One is the video of how Kanjos walikuwa na mwaga mayai of some hustlers. Remember, Mama Mboga and Mayai, these are the people that were spoken to during politics. And again, the same video, another video of another woman, another TikToker that confronted Kanjo for what he calls irresponsibly getting into her car. So, you will realize that Kenyans have actually gone to vent their frustration and tell off government in social media. There is a lot going on. I like following TikTok. I don't have an account. I don't fancy it. But I bump on quite a number of video clips of people talking about government in TikTok. Leave alone even YouTube and Twitter. TikTok is where there is real fire. And people are coming out brave to say enough is enough. Now, that social media accountability is doing Maina and Jenga one thing. It's actually amplifying, magnifying the failures of Kenya Kwanza. And that alone is enough because the young people are emotionally finding a reason to listen to an alternative voice. Number 2. Maina and Jenga is getting gamer media visibility. Just this week, throughout the week, he's been in almost all those, it was in Noro, Kameme, almost all those TV and radio stations that are broadcasting in Kikuyu. And they're getting a lot of traction because you realize there's this show of Kirimbirimbi. I realize they normally bring quite a number of a debate between some political leaders. But if you realize, if you follow Maina Njenga keenly, he's been attracting a national figure. And remember, for him, the fact that he is getting Mount Kenya, he's getting huge crowds in Mount Kenya, and the other side, he's also aligning with Raila Odinga. Aligning with Raila Odinga is giving him a national image. So that's where he cuts. That is the image he cuts above Rigathi, Kibani, Dede Nyoro. But all that group, the Rigathi, Dede, and Ichung'wa, all those group, they fall in the category of Mount Kenya activists. Now, Maina and Jenga aligning with Raila is giving him a national image. Because when Raila, Mombasa, Nyanza, Western, Nairobi, so that is what is working for Maina and Jenga. That media visibility. Number 3. There is this slogan of Uhuru, I warned you. I warned you. Now, something is happening. Pro-Azimio bloggers have been running with this narrative for a better part of this week, especially when something happens and people are crying. You hear them saying, pulling a clip. There is a clip, I think this one. What this one here?
Afadhali mzee ambaye ni mtulivu, ambaye hana haja ya kujaza mifuko yake, ambaye atachunga masilahi ya watu yake, badala ya mdomo tamtamu, lakini akiingia ni wale wa kufanya moja yako, nusu ya mwananchi, mbili yako na tano yangu.
Now that is very interesting how Uhuru Kenyatta was telling the young people, was actually telling Kenyans that, heri mzee. So the renaissance of Uhuru Kenyatta's messages of what he said about Ruto is something that is doing a favor. Because now, there are those he said, and by then, no one would want to hear what Uhuru is saying because it was understood that Uhuru doesn't want his deputy. But now, some of those things he was saying, they are coming now to fruition now. Kenyans are seeing. And now, that message, the reminder, Uhuru reminder, is working in favor of Maina and Jenga. Because Mountain is regretting, is actually bringing the voice of someone regretting. Lastly, one of the strong pillar that was behind William Ruto and Rigathi, the clergy, that network collapsed because no longer the government and the politician can no longer go there for those church fundraisers, not as frequent as they were, because now he's a president, so you cannot be in Mount Kenya every week the way he used to go there when he was campaigning, and when he was banking there because he was idle when he was a deputy. Now he has to be in the other parts of the country. It's not so frequent in Mount Kenya. That network has collapsed. They're no longer talking about the president as the spiritual leader. By the way, I don't know how you can still sell the spirituality of William Ruto with the images of Kanjozo wanamwaga mayai za watu and demolitions everywhere. There is a forced dam on people of Gatundu North. It can't. Some people are killed in a protest while you're in a government. It can't. It's simply not adding up. And these 4 factors are working in favor of Maina and Jenga. I want to read your feedback, what you think, and I will follow it here. Thank you.